Didn't know that this moment would tear open a secret she'd been hiding. He didn't know it would cost him something he once swore he'd never give again. And he definitely didn't know that by the end of the night, the entire street will be talking about what he did next. The tattoo machines buzzed like angry bees. Inside Crimson Ink Tattoo Studio, the air smelled of ink and antiseptic. Heavy bass music vibrated the glass windows. Clients flipped through design books under dim industrial lights. On the walls, dragons, skulls, roses, angels with broken wings. Behind the largest station stood Devon Parker, 6'2", sleeves of black and crimson ink crawling up his arms. Thick beard, silver rings, the kind of man parents subtly pull their children away from on sidewalks. He worked in silence, gloved hands steady, eyes focused. Precision, control, discipline. People thought they knew his type. They were usually wrong. Outside the studio, the December wind cut through the street. Cars passed. Laughter spilled from nearby bars. Holiday lights blinked overhead, cheerful and indifferent. And near the brick wall beside the studio entrance sat a girl in a wheelchair. She couldn't have been older than 18. Her coat was too thin for the weather. One wheel of her chair tilted slightly, like it had been repaired more than once. A small cardboard sign rested against her knees, but it had fallen sideways. Her fingers moved instead. Slowly, carefully, she was signing. Most people didn't notice. Those who did pretended not to. A couple walked past, the woman glancing down before quickly looking away. A man exiting the tattoo shop laughed under his breath. "Wrong place to beg," he muttered. The girl's hands trembled. She signed again. "They left me." Her movements were weak, unsteady, like even hope required effort. A tear slid down her cheek and dropped onto the cold pavement below. Inside, Devon paused midline. Not because of the music, not because of his client, because through the glass he saw her reflection. He didn't turn immediately. He just watched. His client shifted. "You good, man?" Devon blinked once. "Yeah." But he wasn't. Outside, a security guard from the neighboring store approached her, said something, gestured toward the sidewalk. "Move." She tried to respond, signing again. "They left me." The guard shook his head, clearly not understanding or not caring. Her wheelchair rolled back slightly, one wheel catching in a crack in the pavement. She struggled to free it, fingers slipping against cold metal. Inside the shop, two apprentices noticed. "Don't get involved," one of them muttered. "You start helping one, 10 more show up." Devon said nothing, but his jaw tightened. He hadn't planned to close the shop early that day. He hadn't planned to step outside. He definitely hadn't planned to remember something he'd buried years ago. Through the glass, he could see her signing again, slower now. "They said I was a burden." The words didn't carry through the window, but somehow he understood them. One of his clients stood to leave, pulling on his jacket. He glanced outside. "Man, that's depressing." Devon's hand stilled over his client's skin. The needle hung suspended. The apprentices exchanged glances. Everyone in the shop could feel it. The shift in the air, the way Devon's shoulders had gone rigid, the way he was staring through that window like he was seeing something no one else could. Outside, the girl's hands dropped to her lap. She stared down at them, as if wondering what good they were anymore. The security guard was already halfway down the block. A businessman walked past, phone to his ear, stepping around her wheelchair without breaking stride. A mother pulled her young son closer as they passed, whispering something Devon couldn't hear but could easily imagine. The girl didn't look up at any of them. She'd stopped expecting people to see her. Inside, Devon noticed her. He saw everything. The threadbare coat, the broken wheel, the way she held herself like someone who'd learned not to expect kindness, the way her hands had gone still in her lap, the way she'd stopped trying. But he didn't move. He wasn't planning to step outside that day. The tattoo machine resumed its buzz. Devon returned to the dragon scales on his client's forearm, but his movements had changed. Mechanical, distracted. His client didn't notice, but the apprentices did. "Yo, she's still out there," the younger one said, not bothering to lower his voice. He nodded toward the window. "Been sitting there for like an hour." The other apprentice snorted. "Probably making bank. People fall for that wheelchair thing every time." A laugh from the waiting area. One of the walk-in flipping through a portfolio. "She picked the wrong block. Nobody's got cash around here. It's all card." "Should have set up outside Whole Foods," someone else added. More laughter. Devon's jaw worked, but he kept his head down, kept the needle moving. Black ink flowing into skin like blood in reverse. Outside, the security guard had circled back. He stood over the girl now, arms crossed. His voice carried through the glass, muffled but unmistakable in tone. Firm, final. The girl's hands moved frantically, signing something, pleading. The guard shook his head, pointed down the street with more force this time. She didn't move, couldn't move fast enough. The guard reached for the back of her wheelchair. Inside the shop, the older apprentice leaned against the counter. "Here we go." $20 says she makes a scene, the younger one said. "Nah, she'll roll. They always do." Devon's hand tightened around the tattoo machine. Outside, the guard started pushing her. Not gently. The broken wheel caught again, jerking the chair sideways. The girl's hands flew up, trying to steady herself. Her sign fell from her lap, cardboard hitting wet pavement. Nobody picked it up. The guard kept pushing, and the girl's hands moved one more time. Slowly, desperately. They said I was a burden. A couple walking past saw her signing. The woman whispered something to her boyfriend. He shrugged. They kept walking. Inside, a client at the front desk counted out cash for his deposit. "Man, it's getting bad out there. My wife won't even come downtown anymore." "Right," another client agreed. "It's like every corner now." The receptionist nodded sympathetically. "I saw 3 just walking from my car. City needs to do something." "They won't. Not until it affects the tourists." Devon's client shifted in the chair. "You okay, man? You're pressing pretty hard." Devon blinked, eased off. "Sorry." But his eyes never left the window. The security guard had moved the girl 20 feet down the sidewalk, far enough to not be his problem anymore. He walked away, pulling out his phone, already forgetting her. The girl sat alone in her wheelchair. No sign, no plan, no hope visible in the slump of her shoulders. Her hands had gone still. Inside the shop, the apprentices had already moved on, scrolling phones, talking about weekend plans. Someone turned the music up. Devon's client was saying something about his girlfriend, about dinner reservations, about needing the tattoo finished before Friday. The words washed over Devon like static. He could see the girl through the window, see the way she stared at her hands in her lap, see the exact moment she stopped believing anyone would help. He'd seen that look before, years ago, on someone else's face. The tattoo machine buzzed in his hand. The music pounded in his ears. His client laughed at his own joke. And outside, the girl signed one last time to no one. Please. Devon's hand stilled. The needle stopped. He set the machine down carefully, precisely, and removed his gloves. Slowly, the apprentices looked up. The shop went quiet except for the music. Devon stood. What he did next would cost him more than money. Devon walked to the front door. His apprentices watched him move. The clients in the waiting area looked up from their phones. The receptionist paused mid-sentence on a call. He reached for the sign hanging in the glass. Open. He flipped it. Closed. Yo, what? The younger apprentice started. I've got 4 to 5 minutes left in my session. A client protested from the chair. Devon didn't respond. Didn't explain. Just grabbed his jacket from the hook and pushed through the door. Cold air hit him immediately. The December wind. The smell of exhaust and wet pavement. The distant sound of traffic and someone's car alarm going off 3 blocks away. He walked toward her. 6 steps. 7. 8. The girl didn't notice him at first. Her head was down. Her hands rested limp in her lap like broken tools she'd finally given up using. Devon stopped 2 feet away. Then he knelt. The pavement was cold and wet. It soaked through his jeans immediately. He didn't care. She looked up slowly. Her eyes widened when she saw him. This close, he could see how young she really was. 17, maybe 18. Dark circles under her eyes. Chapped lips. Hands trembling, not just from cold, but from something deeper. Fear flickered across her face. Devon raised his hands and signed, I'm listening. Her breath caught, audible even over the street noise. For a moment, she just stared at him, at his hands, at the ink covering his fingers and crawling up his wrists, at the silver rings, at the face everyone else found intimidating. Then her hands moved, hesitant at first. You know sign language. Yes. Her eyes filled with tears. No one else stopped. I know. Behind them, a small crowd had started to gather. Nothing obvious, just people slowing down as they walked past, pretending to look at their phones while actually watching. Across the street, someone had their phone out, recording. The girl's hands moved again, faster now. They left me here 3 hours ago. My foster parents. They said they'd be back. They said they just needed to run an errand. Devon's jaw tightened, but his hand stayed gentle as he signed back. What's your name? Ileana. Ileana Brooks. I'm Devon. She nodded. Fresh tears spilled down her cheeks. Can you help me? I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have money. I don't have. Devon's hands cut her off gently. Stop. You don't need to convince me. She blinked, confused. Why would you help me? You don't know me. Devon started to respond, but then Ileana's eyes dropped to his wrist, to the tattoo there. It was small, simple, easy to miss unless you were looking directly at it. A semicolon, and beneath it, 3 letters in a delicate script. Ambassador. Ileana's hands froze mid-sign. Her face went pale. Her eyes snapped back to Devon's face, searching now, looking for something, finding it. Her hands trembled as she signed. Where did you get that tattoo? Devon's expression shifted, something painful flickering behind his eyes. It's a long story. Those initials. He nodded slowly. Ileana's breath came faster. Her hands moved frantically now. Anna Marie Brooks. That was my sister's name. Devon closed his eyes. I know. When he opened them again, Ileana was staring at him like she'd seen a ghost. Her hand shook so badly she could barely sign. You knew Anna. The crowd had grown larger. More phones out now. Someone was definitely recording. Devin's voice was quiet when he finally spoke aloud. Yeah, I knew her. Eliana's face crumpled, but not with sadness, with something else. Something that looked like recognition, like understanding, like a door opening onto a room she thought was locked forever. Her hands moved one more time. Then you know what happened to her. Devin nodded, and Eliana's shocked expression shifted into something Devin didn't expect. Relief. Why did she look relieved? Sometimes the people we're searching for are closer than we think. If this story is hitting you the way it's hitting me, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button if you believe in second chances. Drop a comment telling me about a time someone saw you when everyone else looked away. And subscribe, because Anna and Devin's journey is just beginning, and you're going to want to see what happens next. Devin stood slowly, breaking eye contact. The crowd was growing, phones angled toward them. Whispers rippled through the small gathering. He needed to move to somewhere private. His hands moved in quick, decisive signs. Not here. Can I take you somewhere warm? We can talk there. Eliana hesitated. Her eyes searched his face one more time, lingering on the tattoo on his wrist. Then she nodded. Devin moved behind her wheelchair, released the brake. The broken wheel protested immediately, catching and jerking sideways. This wheel's shot, he muttered. He navigated her carefully through the crowd, ignoring the stays, the whispered comments, the phones tracking their movement. Someone called out, "Hey, that's pretty cool, man." But Devin didn't acknowledge it. His truck was parked in the alley behind the studio. A beat-up Ford with primer spots and a dent in the passenger door. He opened it, and the hinges screamed in protest. Eliana looked at the truck. At him. At the empty alley. Fear flickered across her face again. Devin pulled out his phone, typed quickly, and showed her the screen. "I'm not going to hurt you. I'm taking you to a diner 2 blocks away. Public place. Lots of people. You can leave whenever you want. I just want to talk." She read it, nodded slowly. He lifted her from the wheelchair. She weighed almost nothing, and settled her into the passenger seat. The wheelchair collapsed with practiced efficiency, and he loaded it into the truck bed. Inside the truck, he turned the heat on full blast. Eliana's hands were blue at the fingertips. They drove in silence. The diner was cold roses, red vinyl booths, checkered floor, the smell of coffee and bacon grease. A waitress who'd seen everything and judged nothing. Devin got Eliana situated in a corner booth, her wheelchair folded beside them. I ordered coffee for both of them. Hot chocolate for her when she pointed at the menu. The waitress walked away. Eliana's hands moved. "Tell me about Hannah." Devin's fingers drummed the table. Once, twice. Then he pulled a small notebook from his jacket pocket, the kind tattoo artists use for sketches, and a pen. He wrote instead of signing. His handwriting was surprisingly neat. I had a younger sister. Her name was Anna Marie. She was 12 years younger than me. When I was 17, there was an accident. Car crash. My parents died. Anna survived, but she was paralyzed from the waist down. Eliana's eyes never left the page. Devin kept writing. I was 18. Barely. The state tried to place us together, but I had a record. Juvie stuff. Stupid kid things. They said I wasn't fit to be her guardian. They put her in foster care. I tried to fight it. Tried to get clean, get my life together fast enough to get her back. His hand paused. The pen pressed harder into the paper. But the system moves slow when you need it fast, and fast when you need it slow. Anna got moved around. Different homes. Different families. I kept track of her for the first year. Visited when they'd let me. Called every week. Then she disappeared. One day she was in a group home in Portland. The next day, the record said she'd been transferred. But no one could tell me where. Files got lost. Caseworkers changed. Numbers disconnected. I searched for 6 years. Every database I could access. Every foster care agency. Every shelter. Nothing. She was just gone. Devin set the pen down. His jaw worked. Eliana's hands were shaking as she signed. When did you last see her? Devin wrote one more line. 12 years ago. She was 14. I was 20. He pushed the notebook across the table. Eliana stared at it. Then slowly, carefully, she picked up the pen. Her handwriting was smaller, shakier. I'm 16 now. I was in that group home in Portland. They transferred me when I was 4. My records say my birth name was Anna Marie Brooks, but they changed it when I got adopted at 5. The adoption fell through after the new parents realized I'd never walk again. I've been Ileana Brooks in the system ever since. No one ever told me I had a brother. She pushed the notebook back. Devin read it. Read it again. His hands froze on the table. The diner noise, clinking silverware, conversation, the hiss of the coffee machine, faded to white static. He looked up at her, really looked, at her eyes, the shape of her face, the way she held her head slightly tilted when she concentrated. His sister used to do that. His hands wouldn't move, couldn't move. Eliana's eyes filled with tears as she signed. Is it really you? Are you really Devin Parker? His throat closed. The waitress appeared with their drinks. Set them down. Said something cheerful. Walked away. Neither of them noticed. Devin's hands finally moved. One word. Anna. Eliana. Anna nodded. And 12 years of searching, of wondering, of hoping, and giving up and hoping again collapsed into this single moment in a diner booth. Devin's vision blurred. He reached across the table, and for the first time in 12 years, he held his sister's hand. Devin couldn't let go of her hand. 12 years. 12 years of searching, of dead ends and disconnected numbers, of lying awake at night wondering if she was safe, if she was happy, if she even remembered him. And here she was, sitting across from him in the diner booth, alive, but not safe, not okay. His hand finally released hers so he could sign. Tell me everything. How did you end up out there tonight? Eliana. He still thought of her as Anna, would probably always think of her as Anna, wiped her eyes with the back of her hand, picked up the pen again. The family I've been with for the past year are the Richardsons. Foster placement. They seemed nice at first. But 3 months ago, I got sick. Pneumonia. Bad. Had to go to the hospital. Devin's jaw tightened. I was there for 2 weeks. When I got discharged, they were supposed to pick me up. The social worker called them. They said they'd come. They never showed. The hospital called again. Left messages. No response. After 3 days, the hospital contacted my caseworker. The Richardsons told her they couldn't handle my medical needs anymore. Said it was too much. Too expensive. Too complicated. They refused to take me back. Devin's hands clenched into fists on the table. Eliana kept writing. The caseworker tried to find emergency placement, but there are no foster homes equipped for wheelchair-bound teens. Not in this county. Not available immediately. So I stayed at the hospital. They kept me in a room for 2 more weeks while they figured it out, but insurance stopped covering it. The hospital needed the bed. They discharged me to a temporary rehab facility, state-funded. The plan was to stay there until they found me a permanent placement. But the funding ran out last week. They gave me 3 days to figure something out. I tried calling my caseworker. Her number's disconnected. The agency said she quit 2 months ago and my file hasn't been reassigned yet. I tried calling the Richardsons one more time, just to see if maybe they changed their minds. She paused. Her hand shook as she wrote the next line. Mrs. Richardson answered. I asked if I could please come back, just until the state found somewhere else. She said, we already took in another kid, a normal one this time. Don't call again. And she hung up. Devin felt something hot and violent rise in his chest. His breathing had gone shallow. Eliana's writing continued, smaller now. The rehab center put me out yesterday morning. Gave me the wheelchair. It's a loaner. That's why the wheel's broken, and $43. Said that's all they could do. I spent last night in a 24-hour laundromat. During the day, I sit outside stores hoping someone will help. That's where I've been today. Tonight I didn't know where I was going to go. She set the pen down, looked up at him. Her eyes were hollow, exhausted. The eyes of someone who'd learned not to expect anything from anyone. Devin couldn't speak, couldn't sign, couldn't process the casual cruelty of it all. A 12-year-old girl paralyzed in the accident that killed her parents, ripped away from her brother because of his juvie record, lost in a system that was supposed to protect her, shuffled between homes, given a new name like her real one didn't matter. Finally getting a stable placement, only to get sick, and then discarded. Like trash, like she wasn't worth the inconvenience. The waitress returned. You two doing okay? Need anything else? Devin's voice came out rough. We're fine. The waitress nodded and left. Devin pulled the notebook back toward him, wrote in hard, angry strokes. Did anyone try to find me? To tell me where you were? Eliana shook her head. I asked once, when I was 10. My caseworker at the time said my family had relinquished all rights, that there was no one. Devin felt something crack inside his chest. He'd been looking for her 4 years, and the whole time she'd been told no one wanted her. His hands moved, signing slowly, deliberately. You're not staying out there tonight. Eliana's eyes widened. I don't have anywhere. You do now. You don't have to. Devin's hands cut her off. Yes, I do. You're my sister. You should have never been out there in the first place. Eliana's face crumpled. Devin stood up, pulled out his wallet, dropped cash on the table for the bill they'd barely touched. We're leaving. Her hands moved frantically. Where are we going? Devin's voice was steady. Final. Home. The video hit social media before they left the diner. Devin didn't know it yet. He was too focused on getting Anna, settled into his truck, making sure she was warm, planning the fastest route to his apartment. But across town, phones were lighting up. At Streetwatch PDX, tattoo artist shuts down his shop to help homeless disabled girl. Faith in humanity restored. Person with praying hands red heart hash. The video had been taken from across the street. Shaky phone camera footage. You could see Devin kneeling on the wet pavement. See his hands moving in sign language. See the girl's face when she realized he understood her. Within an hour, it had 50,000 views. Within 2 hours, 200,000. The comment section exploded. This is what humanity looks like. More people need to be like this guy. Finally, someone who actually helps instead of just walking by. That's Devin from Crimson Ink. He did my sleeve last year. Nicest dude ever. But then the other comments started appearing. Cool. So he gets to be a hero and she gets to be his viral moment. How's that helping her long term? Anyone else think it's weird he just happened to shut down his shop right when someone was filming? This feels staged. like one of those fake kindness videos. He's literally using a disabled homeless girl for clout. This is disgusting. Someone screenshot the video and posted it to a local activist forum with a caption, "Performative allyship or genuine help? Discuss." The discussion turned vicious fast. He closed his shop for 5 minutes to look good on camera, then probably went right back to work. I bet he didn't even give her any money. White savior complex is real. Why does he get praise for doing the bare minimum? That studio has a history of turning away walk-ins who don't look right. Now he wants credit for helping ONE person? Exploitation. Pure and simple. A counter-thread started. You are insane. The man helped someone. When's the last time any of you stopped to help a homeless person? He didn't post this video. Someone else did. He didn't ask for attention. Maybe just let people do good things without tearing them apart? But the damage was spreading. A local news site picked up the story, ran it with a headline, "Viral video shows tattoo artist helping homeless teen." But is it enough? The article was 3 paragraphs long. 2 of them were quotes from concerned citizens questioning Devon's motives. Someone found Devon's Instagram, started combing through old posts looking for anything problematic, found a photo from 4 years ago where he'd made a joke that didn't age well, screenshot it, spread it. See? He's not the saint everyone thinks he is. Devon's phone started buzzing. Text messages from people he hadn't talked to in years. Old clients, former co-workers, his sponsor Marcus. "Marcus, dude, you're blowing up online. You okay?" Unknown number. "Is it true you helped that girl just for internet points?" Unknown number. "Channel 12 wants an interview." Unknown number. "You're a fraud." Devon silenced his phone. He was in his apartment now, a small 1-bedroom in a converted warehouse building. The kind of place with exposed brick and unreliable heat. He'd given Eliana his bed, set himself up on the couch. She was asleep. Finally, exhausted from everything. He sat in the dark, watching his phone light up with notification after notification. He hadn't asked for any of this. He'd just help his sister. But the internet didn't know that yet. Didn't know the connection. Didn't know the 12 years of searching. Didn't know anything except what they saw in a 90-second video. And they'd already decided who he was. A knock at the door made him look up. It was nearly midnight. He moved to the door quietly, checked the peephole. A woman stood in the hallway. Professional clothes. Expensive coat. Camera operator beside her with equipment. She held up a press badge to the peephole. Channel 12 News. She smiled and knocked again. Devon didn't answer the door. He stood there in the dark, watching through the peephole as a reporter knocked twice more, then finally gave up and left. His phone buzzed again. Another text from Marcus. "Marcus, they're at my place too. Don't talk to anyone. Call me in the morning." Devon set the phone face down on the counter. Behind him, a soft sound. Movement. He turned. Eliana was awake, sitting up in the bedroom doorway in her wheelchair. Her hair was messy from sleep. She looked small, fragile. Nothing like the sister he remembered, the one who used to climb trees and skin her knees and laugh so loud their mother would tell her to use her inside voice. Her hands moved. Who was at the door? Nobody important. "I heard knocking." Devon crossed to her, knelt down so they were eye level. Reporter. They saw the video. They want a story. Her face paled. "What video?" He pulled out his phone, showed her the footage of him kneeling in front of her wheelchair. Her face when he signed. The comment section, both the kind ones and the cruel ones. Eliana watched in silence. When it finished, her hands trembled as she signed. "I'm sorry." I didn't mean to cause problems for you. You didn't cause anything. I chose to help. I'd do it again. But people are saying, I don't care what they're saying. Her eyes fill with tears. Everyone always leaves eventually. Once the attention dies down. Once it gets too hard. Once I become too much. Devon's chest tightened. I'm not everyone. I'm your brother. And I already left you once. Not by choice, but I did. I'm not doing it again. You say that now. Anna. She stopped. I looked at him. I have an idea, but I need you to trust me. Her hands moved slowly. What kind of idea? Devon stood, walked to his workbench in the corner, a small setup where he practiced designs at home. He pulled out his sketchbook, flipped through pages of dragons and geometric patterns and memorial pieces, until he found a blank page. He started drawing. Eliana wheeled closer, watching. His hand moved quickly, confident strokes, a design taking shape. A semicolon, the symbol for continuing a story that could have ended, intertwined with a phoenix rising, and woven through both delicate text that read, still here, still fighting. He turned the sketch toward her. I want to give you this. A tattoo. Something permanent. Something that says you survived everything they put you through. That you're still here despite them trying to erase you. Eliana stared at the design. I've never had a tattoo. I know. That's why it means something. It's your choice. Your body. Your story. Nobody else gets to decide what it means. Her fingers traced the edge of the paper. Where would it go? Devon hesitated. Then gently, carefully, he gestured to her lower back, where he knew from their conversation earlier that she had surgical scars from the accident. Long, raised lines that she told him she hated. Reminders of everything she'd lost. Hey, if you want, we could incorporate the scars into the design. Make them part of the phoenix. Turn them into something beautiful instead of something painful. Eliana's hand stilled. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then her hands moved. And the people online, the ones saying you're exploiting me, they don't matter. They'll say you're using me for content, that you're giving me a free tattoo so you can post about it. Let them say whatever they want. Devon. Anna, listen to me. I don't care about the video. I don't care about the attention. I care about you. About giving you something that's yours. Something nobody can take away or change or use to control you. Her eyes searched his face. Why does this matter so much to you? Devon's jaw worked. His voice came out rough. Because for 12 years, I carried around the guilt of losing you. I got this. He touched the semicolon and initials on his wrist. 5 years ago when I got sober. To remind myself that giving up wasn't an option. That somewhere you might still be out there. That I had to keep going until I found you. He met her eyes. This tattoo isn't for anyone else. It's not for the internet or the reporters or the people who think they know what this is. It's for you, to mark this moment, to say you survived, and now you're not alone anymore. Eliana's hand shook as she signed. Okay. Yeah. Yes. I want it. Devon felt something loosen in his chest. When her hands moved again, slower this time, more deliberate. Soon. But I have one condition. Anything. I want you to add something to yours first. Devon looked confused. Add what? Eliana's fingers spelled it out carefully. My new name. Eliana, next to Anna's initials. She paused, then signed again. Because Anna is who I was, but Eliana is who I survived as. And maybe I can be both now. Devin's vision blurred. He nodded. Deal. Eliana smiled, the first real smile he'd seen from her. Then let's do it. But her hands moved one more time. After we figure out how to make them stop bothering you. Devin glanced at his phone, still buzzing with notifications. Yeah, after that. You know what the difference is between a scar and a story? Someone who sees it is worth remembering. If you're still here, if you're feeling this, you're part of why stories like this matter. Real people get overlooked every single day. Real connections get missed. Real families get separated by systems that don't care. Like this video if you think Devin's doing the right thing. Comment and tell me, would you have stopped? Would you have helped? And subscribe, because what happens next is going to test everything we think we know about family, loyalty, and what it really means to show up for someone. This story isn't over. Don't miss what comes next. Devin set up his equipment in the small workspace corner of his apartment. Portable station, sterile wraps, fresh needles. The buzzing machine that had become as familiar to him as breathing. Ileana lay on her stomach on a padded table he'd borrowed from the shop, her shirt pulled up just enough to expose her lower back. The surgical scars were visible, long, raised lines cutting across her skin like someone had tried to map her pain. She couldn't feel the needle. The paralysis meant no physical pain from the tattoo itself. But Devin could see her hands gripping the edge of the table anyway. You okay? He signed with one hand, the other holding the machine steady. She nodded. He decided to live stream it. Not for attention, not for clout, but because Marcus had called that morning with advice. Control the narrative before it controls you. Show them the truth. Show them why this matters. So Devin set up his phone on a tripod, pointed it at his workstation, went live on his shop's Instagram account. The viewers started trickling in immediately. 50 people. 1,000. The comments rolled past. This is beautiful. Still think it performative, but okay. Wait, is that the girl from the video? Why is he filming this? Devin ignored them. Focus on the work. The needle moved in steady lines, tracing the phoenix design over her scars, incorporating them, making them part of the wings, part of the rising. Eliana's hands had relaxed on the table. Marcus appeared in the doorway an hour into the session. He didn't say anything, just watched. After a moment, he pulled out his own phone and started recording from a different angle, capturing Eliana's face, the tears sliding down her cheeks even though she smiled. The viewer count climbed. 5,000. 10,000. Someone in the comments wrote, "Is there fun for her? I want to help." Someone else replied, "Same. Drop a Venmo or something." Marcus saw it. I looked at Devin. Devin nodded once. Marcus pulled up a donation platform on his phone, created a fundraiser. Help Eliana Brooks, lost in the system. He added the link to the live stream description. The donation started immediately. $10, $25, $50, $100. Within 30 minutes, they'd raised $2,000. Within an hour, $8,000. Devin's hands never stopped moving. The phoenix took shape. The scars transformed. What had been marks of trauma became wings of survival. Eliana signed with one hand, her face still pressed against the table. How much had people donated? Marcus showed her his phone. Her eyes went wide. The number had climbed to $15,000. I don't understand, she signed. Why would strangers do this? Because they see you, Devin said aloud, knowing she couldn't hear but needing to say it anyway. His hands moved after. Because your story matters. Because you matter. The live stream viewer count hit 20,000. Comments flooded in faster than anyone could read them. This is the most beautiful thing I've seen all year. I'm crying at work right now. We need more people like this in the world. That tattoo is incredible. Then a comment appeared that made Marcus freeze. At Cynthia Richardson _official. That's a girl who was living with us. We didn't abandon her. She chose to leave. Devin's hand stilled on the tattoo machine. Marcus looked up sharply. The comments section exploded. Excuse me? Oh, now you show up? You literally refuse to take her back from the hospital. It's documented. Lying on a live stream is wild. Another comment from the same account. At Cynthia Richardson _official. She was difficult. Ungrateful. We tried our best, but she refused help. We'd be willing to take her back if she apologizes. Eliana had her phone angled so she could read the comments. Devin saw her face go pale. Her hands moved frantically. No, I'm not going back there. Please don't make me go back. Devin set down the tattoo machine immediately, knelt beside the table so she could see his face. You're not going anywhere. You're staying with me. I don't care what she says. Marcus was already typing furiously on his phone. The comment section turned vicious. Delete your account. You abandoned a disabled teenager and now you want her back? For what? The donation money? This woman is disgusting. Someone finds out where she lives. Let's protest. Devin's phone rang. Unknown number. He ignored it. It rang again. And again. Finally, Marcus answered it. Hello. His expression changed. He put it on speaker. A woman's voice. Tight. Defensive. This is Cynthia Richardson. I'm calling about Ileana Brooks. She's still technically in our care. We have legal guardianship. That man has no right to keep her. Devin's jaw clenched. Marcus responded calmly. She's 16. She can choose where she stays. And from what I understand, you refuse to take her back from the hospital. That's not. We were going through a difficult time financially. You told her not to call again. You called your new foster kid normal. Silence on the other end. Then, I want to speak to Eliana. Devin looked at his sister. She was shaking her head violently. He took the phone from Marcus. She doesn't want to talk to you. Legally, she's still. Legally, you abandoned her. We have witnesses. We have her statement. And now we have 20,000 people watching who know exactly what you did. Another pause. This isn't over. The line went dead. Devin looked at the live stream. The viewer count had hit 35,000. The donation total, $47,000. And in the comments, someone had posted Cynthia Richardson's address, her Facebook profile, her employer's phone number. The internet had made its choice. Eliana's hands moved weakly. What happens now? Devin picked up the tattoo machine again. Now I finish your tattoo, and then we figure out the rest. The apartment wasn't much. 1 bedroom, accessible bathroom, ground floor, ramp instead of stairs. Located 3 blocks from Devin's shop and 2 blocks from a physical therapy clinic. But it was hers. Devin signed the lease on Tuesday. Used money he'd been saving for new equipment. Didn't hesitate. Marcus, his sponsor, his best friend, the man who would help him get sober 7 years ago, co-signed. I stood beside him at the landlord's office and didn't ask questions. Just showed up. Eliana moved in on Thursday. She didn't have much to move. The wheelchair, a garbage bag of clothes from donations, a sketchbook Devin had bought her, the tattoo design they finalized together, framed and hung on the wall above her bed. She sat in the middle of the empty living room and cried. Not sad tears. Something else. Something that looked like disbelief. Her hands moved. Is this real? Devin knelt beside her wheelchair. It's real, and it's yours. Nobody can take it away. How long can I stay? As long as you need to. The lease is a year. After that, we'll figure it out. I can't pay rent. You're not supposed to. You're my sister. You focus on physical therapy and getting stronger. I'll handle the rest. Marcus stood in the doorway, watching. He'd been quiet most of the day, helpful but distant. Devin recognized the look, the one Marcus got when he was processing something heavy. The tattoo shop had changed too. Devin had called a meeting with his apprentices and staff the day after the video went viral. Laid it out plainly. The girl wasn't some stranger he'd helped for attention. She was his sister, the one he'd been searching for since he was 18, the one he thought he'd lost forever. The room had gone quiet. Then the older apprentice, Jake, the one who'd said don't get involved, had spoken up. What do you need? What? From us. What do you need to make this work? Devin hadn't expected that. I don't know yet. Jake nodded. Figure it out. We're in. By the end of the week, they reorganized. Every Friday, the shop would donate a percentage of profits to a fund, not just for Ileana, for anyone who needed help. Medical bills, therapy, mobility equipment, the things insurance wouldn't cover and the system wouldn't provide. They called it the Still Here Foundation. Word spread quietly. No press release. No viral video. Just people who knew people who needed help. Within a month, they'd helped 3 families. Devin didn't post about it. Didn't seek attention. Just did the work. The reporters eventually moved on to other stories. The internet forgot. Life settled into something that almost felt normal. Ileana started physical therapy twice a week. The doctor said she'd never walk again, but she might regain some core strength, might be able to transfer herself more easily, might experience less pain. She went anyway. I worked hard, pushed through. Devin drove her to every appointment. On a cold afternoon in January, 6 weeks after they'd found each other, Devin finished the tattoo. Ileana lay on her stomach on the table in his private studio room. The design covered her lower back, the phoenix rising, the semicolon woven through its wings, the scars incorporated into the flames. Still here, still fighting. Devin worked in silence, careful, precise, pouring everything he couldn't say into the ink. When he finished, he bandaged it carefully, helped her sit up. Marcus was waiting in the front room. He'd been there all day, quiet, watching. Ileana wheeled out to show him, turned so he could see the bandage through her shirt. It's done. Marcus nodded. How do you feel? Her hands moved. Like I have proof now, that I survived, that it wasn't all for nothing. Something shifted in Marcus's expression. His voice came out rough. It was never for nothing. Ileana looked at him, really looked, saw something in his face that Devin had seen there for weeks now. Her hands moved gently. You don't have to carry guilt for what the system did. Marcus's jaw tightened. I was a social worker for 10 years. Before I sponsored Devin, before I did any of this, I worked in foster care. I saw kids like you fall through the cracks every day. And I couldn't save them all. Couldn't save most of them. That's not your fault. It feels like it should be. Ileana wheeled closer to him. You're here now. That's what matters. Marcus's eyes glistened. Devin watched them both, these 2 people who'd become his family in different ways, at different times, for different reasons. Ileana's hands moved one more time, signing to Devin, but looking at Marcus too. You didn't save me. Devin's chest tightened. You saw me. You stopped when everyone else walked past. You saw me as a person, not a problem. That's what mattered. That's what changed everything. Devin's voice came out broken. I should have found you sooner. You found me when I needed you most. That's enough. Marcus turned away, wiping his eyes. Devin knelt in front of his sister's wheelchair and pulled her into a hug. She wrapped her arms around his neck and held on. And for the first time in 12 years, Devin felt like maybe, just maybe, the story didn't have to end in loss. Maybe some endings were actually beginnings. Maybe some people did come back. Maybe some things could be fixed, even after they'd been broken for so long. Eliana pulled back, signed one more thing. Thank you for not walking away. Devin shook his head. Never again. You didn't save me. You saw me. That line right there, that's the whole story. How many people did you pass today without really seeing them? How many Annas are still sitting outside, signing to no one, waiting for someone to stop? If this story changed something in you, even just a little, hit that like button. Leave a comment telling me what moment hit you hardest. And subscribe, because I'm going to keep telling stories about the people society forgets. The ones who survive when everyone says they shouldn't. The ones who keep fighting when the world tells them to give up. Devin found his sister after 12 years. Some of you are still searching for someone. Some of you are waiting to be found. Don't give up. And don't walk past the next person who needs to be seen. I'll see you in the next story.